Hello everyone. We were discussing about potential and potential energy. If you want to talk about potential due to a point charge, that is the amount of potential that a single point charge gives at a distance r away will be given by this formula. V is equal to Q by 4 pi epsilon naught r. That is KQ by r. And potential energy is defined for a two charge system or a system of charges. For a two charge system where two charges Q1 and Q2 are separated by a distance of r, then potential energy is written as 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught Q1 Q2 by r. That is the amount of work done in bringing Q2 from infinity to this point. That will be the potential energy of the system. Suppose you have a system of charges, let us say Q1, Q2, Q3, and Q4. Then we can write work done in bringing these charges from infinity to near each other to form a system will be written as, that is, work done is equal to Q naught into final potential minus initial potential. So the change in potential VB minus VA will be written as W by Q naught, that is work done per unit charge. So change in potential is work done per unit charge. Now, this external work done is W, that is the final potential energy minus the initial potential energy. And therefore, we can write the change in potential energy per unit charge is equal to change in potential. Again, change in potential energy per unit charge is change in potential. Now, suppose here we are going to write relate forces, electric field, charge, and potential energy. So first, force is defined from Coulomb's law. Force between two charged particles will be separated by a distance r will be 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q into q naught by r square. And potential energy between two charged particles separated by a distance r will be 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q naught by r. So we can relate force and potential energy by this relation from Newton mechanics. F is equal to minus du by dr. And electric field and electric potential, they are defined for a single point. We need only a single charge to define them. So electric field due to a single charge q at a distance r away is the force per unit test charge. Here, let us say q naught is our test charge. So F by q naught will be 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q divided by r square. And electric potential, that is potential at point P due to charge q at a distance r away, is potential energy per unit test charge. Test charge was q naught, so I'll divide potential energy by q naught. This will be 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught into q by r. So electric field and potential, they are related by this relation E is equal to minus dp by dr. You can differentiate potential with respect to the distance and you'll get the value of electric field. So force and electric field are related by this quantity, by this relation. F is equal to q naught E, where q naught is the test charge, and potential energy and potential due to a single point charge is are related by U is equal to q naught V. So this is the relation between force and electric potential energy, Coulomb force and electric potential energy, that is F is equal to minus du by dr. Relation between electric field and electric potential is E is equal to minus du by dr, dv by dr. Relation between force and electric field, that is F is equal to q naught E. And relation between potential energy and potential, that is U is equal to q naught V. Now see, we are going to define the work done. So here we have a charge plus q, and what we are going to do, we are going to take another test charge and displace it by a small amount. We are displacing it from point A to point B. So initially the distance between the charged particles was r. Now after displaced by dr, the distance between the charged particles becomes r plus dr. So charge q naught is moved from A to B. So on charge q naught, there are two forces. You want this charge to move very slowly. So you're applying an external force on it, such that you're moving it very slowly from A to B. We don't want it to gain kinetic energy because we only want to find the work done by electric field. So electric field, the force of electric field will be towards the right, and you have to pull the charge towards the left to move it very slowly, such that it moves very slowly. So force on this test charge will be equal to 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q naught by r squared. And this F external is always equal to the electrostatic force. Why? Because we want it to move very slowly. So it is a little less, but approximately equal to the electrostatic force. Now we know work done by external agent in moving the charge from A to B such that it moves very slowly, such that there is no gain in kinetic energy. Can be written like this, that work done by external agent is equal to force, external force dot dr. Negative sign because displacement is towards the right and external force is towards the left. External force is towards the left. So negative sign is here. And this is infinitesimal work done in moving a charge through infinitesimal distance. So dw is minus FDR. We can define work energy theorem for it. So work energy theorem is external work done is equal to change in kinetic energy plus change in potential energy. So work done by external agent is dW, that was this quantity, and this change in potential energy, that is change in electrostatic potential energy, is du. So from here, instead of dW external, I can write du, and that gives us du is equal to minus FDR, or F is equal to minus du by dr. So we have derived our this relation that we have written here. This relation is different in this section from work energy theorem and basic Newtonian mechanics. After this, F is equal to minus du by dr. It relates force with potential energy and says that force equals to the rate of change of potential energy of the system with respect to R. With respect to R, that is called potential energy gradient. And when this happens, if this holds, then the force is called a conservative force. Force is called a conservative force. Achha, for a point charge, you can write F is equal to Q naught E and U is equal to Q naught V. And the Q naught get outside and they get cancelled. So we get E is equal to minus dV by dr. So electric field is the rate of change of electric potential with respect to R. That is called the potential gradient. dV by dr is the potential gradient. Here we write dV by dr as potential gradient. Gradient means change with respect to distance, R. So we can define electric field intensity at a point in an electric field in a given direction is equal to the negative of the potential gradient in that direction. So we have to differentiate potential with respect to R and put a negative sign. And that's why is equal, the electric field is equal to the negative of the potential gradient in that direction. Now see, if there is a charge plus Q here, and we are moving a charge Q naught from point A to point B, then the distance has changed from R plus dr, from R to R plus dr. But dr is very, very small, so R plus dr is approximately equal to R. So electric field at A, I can take it as approximately equal to electric field at B. Okay, this is approximately equal. If I write dV by dr, then I have to differentiate d 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught q by r with respect to dr. Potential is q by 4 pi epsilon naught r. I'm differentiating it with respect to dr. This will give me r ka power minus 1, and q by 4 pi epsilon naught is constant, so it will come out. And if you differentiate r to the power minus 1, it will become minus r minus square, minus r to the power minus 2. That is minus q by 4 pi epsilon naught r square. From here, you can see that electric field is negative of dV by dr. we can write this relation E is equal to negative of dV by dr. From here also we can prove this relation. So here electric field and potential were related. So in other terms, we can write that dV is equal to minus E dot dr. The same relation, because potential decreases when electric field in the direction of electric field. If you move in the direction of electric field, so E dot dr will be positive, but dV will become negative. So along the direction of electric field, potential always decreases. Along the direction of electric field, potential always decreases. So we'll do a small question. See here, there is a uniform electric field and it is given as 10 Newton per Coulomb. Okay, what is a uniform electric field? Uniform electric field is a field for which the magnitude and direction of electric field remains same everywhere. The magnitude and the direction of electric field remains the same everywhere. That means I can draw this electric field lines parallel to each other. So suppose I have 5 points like this, A, B, C, D, and E and F. And I want to write a electric field between 2 points. Okay, so at equal intervals of length, the potential drop will be by same amount. So if here the potential is 100 volt and this is 10 Newton per Coulomb. This is 10 Newton per Coulomb. So after every 1 meter, potential will decrease by 10 volt. So 100 volt will become 90 volt after 1 meter. That will become 80 volt after 1 meter, because 10 Newton per Coulomb. Here, if you put the values, dV will be equal to minus 10 into 1 for 1 meter. So change in potential will become minus 10. So after every 1 meter, potential decreases by 10 units. So first at A potential will be 100, at B 90, 80, 70, 60, 50, like that. So along the direction of electric field, potential will change by that amount. We can also prove this relation. So for uniform electric field, dV is equal to minus E dot dr. So I will take electric field along this direction, and dr is also along this direction. So angle between them is 0 degree. So minus E dr cos 0. We are moving along the electric field. So dV becomes just minus E dr, and both are parallel. So angle is 0 degree. I can integrate from point 1 to point 2 to get the change in potential. Integration of dV is electric field is constant because it is uniform electric field in this case. Integration of dr is r, integration of dV is v. So v2 minus v1 is minus er2 minus r1. In short, we can write delta v is equal to minus e delta r. Delta means change, finite change. So this relation is true only when electric field is constant. That is, this relation is true for uniform electric field. In our case, we have C, VB minus VA will be equal to minus E RB minus RA. That will be 1 meter. So VB is equal to VA minus E. So 100 minus 10, that is 90 Newton per Coulomb. So if potential at A is 100 volt, then potential at B will be 90 volt. This we have proved numerically. So if you move along the electric field, you can use this relation. If you move perpendicular to the electric field, means you want to go from point A to, let us say, this point P. So you are moving perpendicular to electric field. Your dr vector is perpendicular to electric field. So electric field is along this, dr is along this. So dv is minus E dot dr. So dv will be minus E dr cos 90. Cos 90 is 0. That means dv is 0. So when dv is 0, we can say that there is no potential drop across the along a line perpendicular to the electric field. So when we move along the perpendicular to electric field line, there is no change in potential. Potential only changes when you move along the electric field. Perpendicular to the electric field, there is no change. And so there are planes, there are points, if we join them together, where the electric potential does not change, those planes will be called equipotential plane. So an equipotential plane is a region at which the potential remains the same. So this point A, at this point A, potential was 100 volt, and moving perpendicularly everywhere, the potential was 100 volt. So in this case, there was no change in potential. So every point on this plane will have the potential of 100 volt. Similarly, every point on this plane will have a potential of 90 volt. These planes are called equipotential plane. So for uniform electric field, the equipotential planes are parallel to each other. They are parallel to each other and perpendicular to the electric field. So we define equipotential surfaces like this: surface over which electric potential is same everywhere. And properties of equipotential surface is that no work is done in moving a charge between any 2 points on an equipotential surface. Why? Because change in potential is zero. If change in potential is zero, then delta U will be Q delta V. If change in potential is zero, that means change in potential energy is zero. That means work done by external agent is zero. So that we can safely assume that there is no work is done in moving a charge between any 2 points on an equipotential surface. Next is the electric field is perpendicular to the electric equipotential surface at each point on the surface. This happens because equipotential surface will only be perpendicular to the electric field. Only then E dr cos 90 can happen. When the angle between them is 90 degree, then only delta V is zero. So the electric field is perpendicular to the equipotential surface at each point on the surface. And also, in a family of equipotential surfaces, the surfaces are closer together where the electric field is stronger and farther apart where the electric field is weaker. If I draw equipotential surfaces due to point charge, so electric field is given by Q by 4 pi epsilon naught R square. So as you go away, electric field decreases. This is not uniform electric field. It will keep on decreasing as you move away from the charge. And potential will be Q by 4 pi epsilon naught R. So with R, the potential decreases. But if R is the same, then potential remains same. If R is the same, that means it forms a sphere. These are spherical equipotential surfaces. Spherical equipotential surfaces. So spherical equipotential surfaces, and near to the charge, they will be closer because it is varying by 1 by R. So 100 volt, 90 volt, 80 volt, they will be closer to each other. And 70 volt, 60 volt, 50 volt, they will be far away from each other. This is just to denote, because they can have different values. But as you move away, the equipotential surfaces, they are moving away from each other. They are far from each other. So here the electric field is weaker. So that's why the equipotential surfaces are far from each other. Here the electric field is stronger near the charge. So equipotential surface will be closer to each other. And they're spherical. I have drawn circular, but it is actually spherical. Next is no two equipotential surfaces can intersect each other. Because if that happens, we know that perpendicular to this surface, there is an electric field E1. And perpendicular to this surface, there is an electric field E2. So if equipotential surfaces intersect, that means the direction of electric field is in two directions, which is not possible. And therefore, we can say that no two equipotential surfaces can intersect each other. After this, let us do a question. So a uniform electric field is given, magnitude is 5 Newton per coulomb, and potential at A is given as 70 volt. You have to find potential at point B, C, D, E, F. So this is a uniform electric field. Potential at A is given as 70 volt. Delta V is minus E delta R. V2 minus E1 will be minus ER2 minus R. So we can find potential at B by this relation. VB minus VA is minus E RB minus RA. RB minus RA, it will be 2. It will be 2. So we can write minus 5 into 2, and VB will become VA minus 10, that is 70 minus 10, 60 volt. So potential at B becomes 60 volt. Potential at C, it will further decrease by 3 meter, so it will be decreasing by 15 volt. So or from, if you start from A, then 5 meter का change है. So 5 into 5, 25 का decrease, that will be 45 volt. And potential at D, it should increase because we are going opposite to the direction of electric field. So in that case, we'll write change in R, delta R will be minus 2. So it will increase and it will become 80 volt. VA is 70 and minus 5 into minus 2 becomes 10. So 70 plus 10 is 80. Then potential at E will be equal to potential at A. Potential at F is equal to potential at B. So potential at E will be A equal to A, that is 70 volt. Potential at F is equal to potential at B, that will be 60 volt. If you want to draw equipotential surface around a dipole, this is frequently asked question in competitive exams as well as in board exams. So electric field start from plus Q and they terminate at minus Q. They radiate away from positive charge and terminate at the negative charge. So along the axial line, we can say that the electric field is outwards on the right side and from plus Q to minus Q on the inside. And equipotential surfaces, they are distorted spheres, you can say. And at the center, there will be a plane because at center potential will be 0. This is the surface at which potential is 0 because it is equally separated from the positive charge and negative charge, which are equal in magnitude. And the rest will be like this. This equatorial line will have potential 0, but axial line, they will have different potential at different points. Now, once you can calculate the change in potential, you can also calculate the work done. What is work done? Work done is change in potential energy. When you multiply a charge Q with the change in potential, you get the amount of work done in moving that charge. So suppose potential at point A is 70 volt. You want to find how much work done will be there in moving a charge of 2 coulomb from point A to B. If you want to move a charge 2 coulomb from A to B, then you have to do some work. Okay. So amount of work done will be, that will be charge into final potential minus initial potential. So that will be final potential is 60, initial is 70. So 2 into minus 10, that is minus 20 joules. Then if you want to find work done in moving 2 coulomb charge from C to A, that will be just charge multiplied by change in potential. Final point is C, initial point is A. So final point is A, initial point is C. 70 minus 45, that will be 50 joules. Like this, we can find work done if change in work done in moving a point charge if the potential is given. And see, the work done by external agent is equal to change in potential energy only if kinetic energy is zero. This holds true only when the kinetic energy is zero, not in any other case. If kinetic energy is not zero, then you use work energy theorem. That is, work done by external agent is equal to change in kinetic energy plus change in potential energy. This is the work energy theorem that you can use if kinetic energy is not zero. If kinetic energy is not zero, change in kinetic energy is not zero. Now let us calculate the work done in rotating an electric field. So you can see here, if a dipole is kept in an electric dipole is kept in an electric field, it will experience a torque. So the value of torque, we calculated it as P cross E. Okay, because the force here will be Q in the forward direction and the force here will be Q in the backward direction. So this will cause it to rotate. This will cause it to rotate. And we have derived a formula earlier that torque is equal to P cross E, that is PE sine theta. PE sine theta. So initially, our dipole is making an angle theta with the electric field. This is the direction of dipole from negative charge to positive charge. And the direction of electric field is along this. So angle between them is theta. So P and E, direction between electric dipole and electric field is theta. If you want to write the work done from, we can write the formula for pure rotation. So work done in pure rotation, because net force is 0. So this will be pure rotation. So work done in pure rotation is integration of tau d theta. It is not f dx, it is tau d theta. And we'll integrate this from theta 1 to theta 2. But theta 1 is our initial angle between electric field and dipole moment, and theta 2 is our final angle between dipole moment and electric field. So PE sine theta d theta instead of torque, PE I can take outside and integrate sine theta. Integration of sine theta is minus cos theta. And we can write this as minus PE cos theta 2 minus of minus PE cos theta 1. So work done is minus PE cos theta 2 minus cos theta. So this is the work done in rotating an electric dipole in a uniform electric field from angle theta 1 to theta 2. So work done is U theta 2 minus U theta 1. That is change in potential energy. So work done is minus P cos theta 2 minus P cos theta 1. That is potential energy of theta 1 and minus potential energy of theta 2. So since this electric field is a conservative force, we can write work done as change in potential energy. And comparing this relation with the work energy theorem, that is, we can write the potential energy is equal to minus PE cos theta 2 when angle is theta 2 and minus PE cos theta 1 when angle is theta 1. Theta is the angle between electric field and electric dipole. So we can write a formula for potential energy of an electric dipole in a uniform electric field. That will be minus PE cos theta, in short, minus P vector dot E vector. So in short, you can only remember this formula and this formula to calculate your answers. Now, we have this torque as PE sine theta and potential energy is minus PE cos theta. And we are going to observe some cases. So first case is when torque is 0, okay, net force is 0. We want net torque to be 0. So net torque is 0 when sine theta will become 0. Sine theta becomes 0 at theta is equal to 0 degree and theta is equal to 180 degree. When theta is equal to 0 degree, potential energy will become minus PE cos 0. Cos 0 is 1. So minus P. So net force is 0, net torque is 0, and potential energy का minimum value आ रहा है. Minimum value of potential energy is minus PE. So when potential energy is minimum, that means it will be a stable equilibrium. So net torque and net force is 0, and potential energy is minimum, so stable equilibrium. We can see it from here that dipole moment is like this along this direction, parallel to the electric field. If you try to rotate it a bit, it will regain its original position. If you rotate it a bit by a small amount, it will try to rotate its gain its original position, original state. But if theta is 180, then potential energy will become cos 180 is minus 1. So potential energy is minus of PE minus 1. That will be PE. So potential energy is maximum. So this is unstable equilibrium. Net torque is 0, net force is 0, and at theta is equal to 180, potential energy is maximum. So this is unstable equilibrium. In this case, they are anti-parallel. Electric field is towards the right and dipole moment is towards the left. So if you give it a small nudge, it will just rotate a full 180 degree rotation and it will try to stay at that position. On the other hand, if potential energy is 0, then minus P cos theta should be 0. So first case is that theta is 90 degree and the second case is that theta is 270 degree. When potential is 0 at theta 90, so they are perpendicular to each other. At that time, torque is maximum. So it will try to rotate it in the clockwise direction. Electric field will try to rotate it in clockwise direction. Due to the see, torque is occurring because of the forces. Here force is QE, here force is QE. But we don't want to write forces and multiply them by distance and all. So we have got this small relation that torque is equal to PE sine theta. Or in vector form, torque is equal to P cross E. When angle is 270°, then cos 27 sine 270 will be -1. So torque will be minus PE. So this will try to rotate it in anti-clockwise direction. Torque is negative. So this will try to rotate in anti-clockwise direction. Based on this, we'll do some questions. So remember this formula, torque is P sine theta, that is P cross E. And potential energy is minus P cos theta, that is P dot E, minus side, P dot E. This is P cross E, mod of P cross E, and this is minus P dot E. Formulas you must remember. So question is that an electric dipole of dipole moment this much is placed in an electric field of value this much. Find work done in rotating it from 0 to 180. So we have the formula minus PE cos theta 2 minus cos theta 1. Cos 180 is cos theta 2, cos 180 is -1, cos 0 is -1, and PE, so P into V, E, we can put the values, and the final result is coming out to be 80 microjoules. And if you want to find work done rotating from 90° to 0°, so final is 0°, initial is 90°, so minus PE cos theta 2 minus cos theta 1. So minus 41 minus 0, that is 40 microjoules. Okay. Then you have to find torque when potential energy is maximum. So for potential energy maximum, it was this case when theta is equal to 180°. So for theta is equal to 180°, potential energy will be minus PE cos 180. Potential energy is maximum. So cos 180, cos theta is -1. So theta will be equal to 180°. And we can write here cos theta will be equal to 180°. Cos theta is -1, that means theta is equal to not 180, but yeah, 180. So when potential energy is maximum, the value of torque will be 0. The value of torque will be 0 because torque is PE sine theta. Sine 180 is 0. When potential energy is maximum, torque will be equal to 0. That will be all for today. Thank you.